Hello everyone and welcome back here at Brussels. The semifinals is about to start. I am Marijn Libard. I am joined by Gabriel Nassif, Pro Tour Hall of Famer, and we've got 4 competitors left. Out of almost 2,000, 4 of them can still grab the trophy. 2 of them in the tournament center shirt. Lucas Blon playing against Martin Muller, but the match we are going to start with is Simon Nielsen against someone which you might not have seen on camera before today, but which is Antonio Castellani. He's playing Attacker Red. He's been running hot as his deck is, playing against the Rally the Ancestors deck now. Certainly a matchup we haven't seen before on camera.
No, we've seen very little Attacker Red period this weekend. The deck wasn't super popular. A few players did okay with it, and one made the top 8, Antonio. So he's, I think it's pretty unfavorable matchup for him. Game one is supposed to be good. Not much Simon can do about the combo, but the sideboard games become very, very rough. So yeah, game one it's mostly about drawing the quote-unquote combo of a Become Immense plus Teamer Battle Rage. He can probably also win the fairway, attacking with creatures, casting a Terracast command. Simon Nielsen on the play though, so let's see if he can deal with Antonio's start.
Yeah, indeed, Simon Nielsen on the play with a turn 1 Evolving Wilds. Antonio faster off the gates, Mountain into Swift Spear, get in for 1. Put Simon Nielsen at 19, not Antonio Castellani, of course, and Simon responds with a Sidisi's Fateful as a perfect blocker.
Yeah, so taking it slow. He has another coming to play tap land with the second Evolving Wilds. Decides to play a blocker, and all Antonio can do is play Dragon Fodder, pass the turn.
And Simon Nielsen, of course, happy with that sequence. He's going to fetch his second land with Evolving Wild. That one is going to be a swamp. Let's see what he can do after that.
Yeah, so I'm assuming game one, as I said, is good for the red deck, mostly because Simon Nielsen has no way to interact with the combo. He has no spot removal game one, and the deck takes a few turns to set up. He has some ways to gain life with Cutthroat, and I guess he can also just limit the damage he takes and always make sure he stays out of reach of the 16, 18, 20 damage the red player can deal with Become Immense plus Teamer Battle Rage.
In the meantime, Castellani, he cracks a fetch land, gonna look for a Cinderglade, and let's see what his turn 3 play will be. He does have quite a few creatures already, and I think he's gonna add 3 more goblins to the board with Hardling Outburst. Meantime, Simon Nielsen's hand, Nantuko Husk, Elvish Visionary, and another card.
Yes, so Antonio playing a pretty stuck version of the red deck. He does have 2 copies of Hardling Outburst, which is not super unorthodox, but not super standard, not necessarily standard either. He has 3 copies of Wide Slash, 2 copies of Fury Impulse, 3 copies of Teamer Battle Rage, 3 copies of Become Immense, obviously 4 Terracast Command, 4 Titan Strengths, and the rest is pretty standard too. 2 Lightning Berserkers. So
there we go with Hordling Outburst. Now 6 creatures in the on the battlefield for Antonio, but I don't think he's got any good attacks there. That would be just throwing away one of those goblins. Indeed, he says go. Let's see what Simon can do on his turn. Is that another Catacomb Sifter? It is 2 more blockers for Antonio. He's got almost as many creatures as as Antonio.
Yeah, he's keeping up. So it looks like Antonio's might not be able to win the fairway. Maybe if he has double a Terracast Command, but I wouldn't say that's super fair either. Anyways, Simon's still at 19. Antonio was a bunch of 1/1s, and Simon was a lot of good blockers. So he needs to get somehow some damage in if he wants to hope to be able to finish Simon off with Become Immense plus Teamer Battle Rage.
But Antonio is going to crack another land, and I believe I saw a second copy of Hordling Outburst, his own only 2 copies that are gonna create 3 more goblins, but he's still got no good attacks there. If he attacks with everything, he gets in for 1 damage and loses a lot of goblins.
Yeah, pretty interesting. He decides to get a Mountain. He might might mean that he has the second Cinderglade in his hand, so that could be useful info for Simon. He can probably figure out that Antonio has at least one land in hand, so that's something to take into account when he's going to do the Become Immense math.
And now Simon Nielsen draws a collected company. Is he just going to add another blocker? Yes, he is. He's adding another blocker, and this is not looking good for Antonio. All of his 1/1s are outclassed by Simon's creatures, and his opponent is at 19. He doesn't even have one of the combi pieces. He still needs to draw both of them.
So right now he has 6 blockers. Antonio was 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 attackers. So 3 goblins get through. That's 16. Become Immense plus Battle Rage. That's 12 more damage on an unblocked token. 13 more damage. So even if he had the combo, he'd still be 3 points of damage short. So Simon looking pretty good. And as you said, so could you tell what Antonio had in hand at all?
Yeah, only lands.
Wow.
Simon Nielsen has collected company and Elvish Visionary, so he's gonna have some good following turns, whereas Antonio Castellani basically needs to draw all of the combo pieces. Is he going to attack there?
Yeah, so things looking really grim for Antonio, since game 1 is supposed to be the game where he has the edge, or anyway it's supposed to be better for him than after sideboard. So if he can't even win game 1, winning 2 sideboard games is going to be really rough.
Yeah, and here he's throwing 5 of his creatures under the bus and only dealing 3 damage. That cannot be the way you want to be approaching the game.
Yeah, he's got to have something in hand if he's making that attack.
Yeah, I think it's a stone cold bluff, hoping that Simon is gonna respect maybe double. He cannot. He cannot even play double.
Bluffing. I mean,
command.
Simon's blocks are pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Like Tarka's command, not even that good here, because the Sifters live through it, Faithful lives through it.
He does have one at Tarka's command.
He has one at Tarka's command.
But it's still not good.
I mean, if I were Antonio, I would have at least like maybe played the second Cinderglade, like represent potentially double the Tarka's command.
So let's see what happens now. The Swift Sphere becomes a 3/4. So I believe, yeah, we're gonna see a 4/4 Nantuko Husk, and then there's still 3 creatures dying, and Simon takes 6.
Yeah, he gets to scry once, keeps on top, sack the other one to the husk, cry to the top again. So yeah, I mean, he's gonna get 9 damage in, but lose half his team.
And Simon's still with 4 creatures.
2 more tokens that are gonna die, that's right.
And 6 left for Simon.
Alright, so he lost a third of his team, but he also did lose the Swift Sphere.
This does mean Simon is at 10, which is pretty much always lethal when you have the combo.
Yeah, when you have an unblocked token.
Yeah. Well, you don't really need the unblocked token. It gives trample, so if it's like a small sized creature that is blocking, it's also fine.
That's a good point. Even though Simon's creatures have all minimum 2 or 3 toughness right now, so might be relevant. And we're gonna see a main phase collected company. Oh, 2 cutthroats. Is that game?
17. Yeah, he can actually make a huge Nantuko Husk. Let's see.
So what are the 2 cards? Cutthroat.
Every creature is 4 damage, so that's 12, 13, 14. Yeah, it's 17. That's game 1 to Simon Nielsen. Very quick game 1 there for the Danish player. His deck is firing on all cylinders. I haven't seen him lose. He's playing super well. He might actually be playing his good friend Martin Muller with the exact same deck, exact same sleeves as well. I was sitting next to them. They were high-fiving each other as they were playing. Well, this was a quick win for Simon. His opponent draw was decent. He just didn't have the combo, but now things are looking pretty bad. What are his sideboard options?
Yeah, and I've been saying game 1 is the game Antonio needs to win, because game 2 Simon's deck turns into like anti-red deck if he wants to. He can bring in 4 Murderous Scuts, 4 Arashan Clerics, 1 Valorous Stance, 2 Dispel, 2 Duress, 2 Absent Ascendancy, so potentially can bring in all 15 cards if you want to. I'm guessing he's not going to bring in the Duress. I think he's going to bring in all the spot removal, make sure he's combo proof. Obviously for Arishan Cleric, great card, especially when you have spot removal to back it up. So yeah, it's going to be a nightmare. I'm not exactly sure what Nielsen boards out, but I'm sure he's tested the matchup, played the matchup, he knows what to do. Antonio, what can he bring in? Maybe Chandra, Fire of Kaladesh, give him a bit of reach, even though Simon's bringing in 4 Murder Scud, just giving him reach. Maybe 2 Den Protectors, trying to play the grindy game, but I'm not sure that's the game he wants to try and play. Arc Lightning might be decent. Maybe more Shocks, maybe more Outbursts. It's really rough. He has to decide if you want to try and go wide, more tokens, and rely on the Tarkus command, or try and stick to the combo.
Yeah, but we're going to take a quick look at the other match as these players are sideboarding. Let's take a look at Lucas Blon against Martin Muller. No surprise, Martin Muller has a lot of creatures. Lucas Blon has a lot of lands. But there they go, all of the creatures from Martin Muller. He is going to draw a bunch of cards because of the Grim Respect Zone.
Yeah, there's also a Sifter into play, so a bunch of Scry effects and a bunch of card draw for Martin. So kind of what's looked like a desperation move for Lucas. We see he's at 5, Martin's at 18. Lucas does have a Jace on 9 counters, so who knows? We haven't seen that this weekend yet. Ultimate on Jace.
I think it's 6.
Oh, right. Yeah. I'm dumb. The good old 9-sided die.
Now he's got a lot of scries and a lot of card draw. He can actually stack that the way he wants. So he can do like 2 scry, then I draw a card, then 2 scry, then I draw a card.
Yeah, except he has to decide before seeing. So I'm not sure why he didn't sag them one by one so he can alternate scry. And I guess.
Yeah, there we go. He scries 2. And then
alright, that's what he said. He said he was going to scry 2 every time and then draw for each creature.
To the bottom.
I'd be scared if I was Martin. I'd do it one by one because he might just forget how many. I think that's what's going on. He's like, how many times did I do it so far? And he's kind of lost track, and you don't want to be drawing extra cards. That's not the way you wanna go out.
2 to the bottom. I draw 1. 1.
I think Lucas keeping track of it for him.
To the bottom. 1. To the bottom. I draw 1. This is going to go on for quite a while.
Yeah, so hopefully for
1
Lucas...
on top, I'll draw.
Hopefully for Lucas, he has a Silumgar Scorn plus a dragon in hand, and he can just hope that Martin just doesn't have enough mana to play his spells efficiently, and he can come back in the game that way, but I'm guessing it was just desperation, Crux of Fate, just because he didn't have any other plays, and Martin Muller looking good in game 1.
How about a Jace? I've drawn 17 cards. Let's start with a Jace. 2 Relity Ancestors, Collected Company, Nantuko Husk. Yeah, pretty much everything he wants. He just needs to find the right time to play them all. Well, he's gonna respond to that ultimate prize with a Collected Company, I'm guessing, or he could even go for a Relity Ancestor for 2, but is that of any good? I don't see any cutthroats.
Yeah, I think you need the Husk to have the stack outlet. Yeah, so I mean, now would be a good time to break on Company if you're in Lucas' seat.
1, 2, Cutthroat.
Here's a Visionary, here's a Cutthroat, here's a Sifter.
How about 5 possible targets?
Yeah. You might just want double Cutthroat.
Now the question, how is Lucas gonna win this game?
Yeah, Cutthroat Sifter a bit safer. Lucas needs to start by resolving a Dragonlord Ojutai. He needs that pressure and that constant source of card advantage if he wants to have a shot at keeping up with what Martin's going to be doing in the next few turns.
And Martin actually gets one more scry of the
Ooh,
Jace.
here's the dragon. here's part 1. Part 1 of maybe 10, but part 1 anyways.
I saw one game where he actually ultimated Jace and tried to mill the rally deck. It didn't work out. he milled like 15 cards and then rallied in and says, okay, yeah, I've given you enough fodder. But I think it's one of the like they gotta try something. The long games are so rough for them.
I don't think it never gets to that point though. Games don't go quite that long.
And it seems like our two other players, Antonio Castellani from Italy and Simon Nielsen from Denmark, are ready for game number 2. Remember, Simon Nielsen is up a game there. We could actually see a Rally Ancestor mirror, 75 card mirror in the finals. Or we could still have Mono Red or Atarka Red against Esper Control.
Yeah, right now it's looking good for the rally decks there. Well, Simon is up a game and Martin is probably going to be up a game soon. Even though we've had many surprises in that matchup before. So no turn 1 for Antonio. That's like not where you want to be if you're mono red.
And I think he kept at 7.
Yeah, I mean if you have a good hand, like not having a 1-drop is not an auto mulligan for the red deck. It's not ideal, but if you have a solid 7-card hand.
He does have a turn 2 Dragon Fodder, so at least that one is good. He also drew a Monastery Swift Spear. Of course, one turn late to the party would have already gotten for 3 damage. In the meantime, Simon Nielsen is gonna sacrifice his Evolving Wilds. I've seen this. Simon Nielsen, he takes more time for his first turn than for his second and third turn. He always sequences his lands very carefully. He knows how dangerous it is with so many coming to play tapped lands. He thinks which color will I need first, which can I get 2 basics first maybe. He gives it a lot of thought.
Yeah.
Prairie Stream from the top. Does he have a 2-drop? Does he have a third land actually, or was this his only? Oh, that's actually a Flooded Strand.
Yeah, I'm guessing if he did mulligan, he at least kept a 2-lander.
Yeah.
And we see he has.
We also see a Murderous Cut at the top of his deck, so he certainly brought these in as we were expecting.
Yeah.
I think, as Gabe said, one of the ways to lose this matchup is the Become Immense plus Teamer Battle Rage. If you have that 1 mana answer to that way of losing, it's like the perfect thing to have. He can tap out and keep up 1 black source, and he's all fine.
Yeah, you also wanted, especially against Antonio, who's probably going to bring in those free Chandras. Chandra is actually kind of somewhat scary card. And Simon was the turn to Elvish Visionary. Those 2 basic lands you were talking about, so he's set for a potential future battle lands. And but that's a big one for Antonio. Not bad. Green source land. Never a bad thing when you're playing cards like Become Immense or potentially Lightning Berserker.
And there we see Simon Nielsen throws away his Elvish Visionary to save in 1 damage and kill the Goblin. Simon down to 19. Now draws a card. What's he gonna do on his third turn?
Yeah, Elvish Visionary is surprisingly unexciting against aggressive decks in this format because it trades really poorly. It doesn't trade with anything out of the Absent deck, and it only trades with Goblin tokens and potentially a Lightning Berserker against the red deck. But still gets some value out of the Visionary, I guess.
Simon gets a Sunken Hollow with his Polluted Delta, moves to 16 because of the fetch land, is gonna play a Catacomb Sifter, 2 blockers for him. Let's see what Antonio can do now.
Alright, Antonio needs to keep the pressure on. He needs to, ideally he wants a Tarkus command right now. That's one of the best cards he can have. Obviously if he has fetch land, Become Immense, and Teamer Battle Rage, that's probably game. Oh, he has part one of 3. Does he have the 2 other cards? I know he was doing some math. I'd be scared if I was Simon. He was kind of counting, took a look at his graveyard. So does he have it?
I've seen 1 Become Immense in his deck so far. I've only seen 1. Ooh, drum rolls all around. He takes a Cinder Glade. Let's see if he found a combo. This would be a turn 4 kill for Antonio.
Yeah. Did I just curse Simon the caster curse, talking about how how game one is the tough one, and once you got game one out of the way, you're pretty much set.
In come the clowns. Double Swift Spear, Goblin, and Abbott.
Yeah, and potentially Temur Battle Rage plus Become Immense. 4 cards in the graveyard. 5 was a Battle Rage. Oh,
no
Tarkus
Temur
Command.
Battle Rage, but that Tarkus Command is pretty good. That's 3, 6. That's 9 damage for Simon Nielsen, and he loses his Eldrazi's Pound. Does kill the Goblin. So
yeah, and potentially
goes to
lethal
7.
if Antonio has Become Immense.
Yeah, but it seems like he does not have it.
Alright, so it's possible Antonio boarded out his combo actually, because he knows Murderous Cuts and Valor Stance are coming in. He knows the spell is coming in, so not impossible Antonio boarded out some of the pump spells.
Now it's funny how good a 2-3 is against a Tarka Red.
Yeah, 2-3 is pretty solid, that's for sure. Simon needs something somewhat decent here. He needs like a Collected Company, another Sifter. I don't think a Husk's quite gonna cut it.
Or he could, of course, hope that Antonio doesn't have any more non-creature spells.
Yeah, I guess you can always hope for that. Antonio already pretty flooded in game 1. Let's see if he can draw a bit more action this game. So can't quite see what Simon's holding. We see a Rally the Ancestors to the right. The only white card in his deck pre-board, he actually has a Valor Stance and Cleric after sideboard. And he passes the turn, so I think we're just gonna see most likely a Company.
Or
Okay,
maybe Rally the Ancestors, but
I mean, Rally the
that
Ancestors
seems-
for 2, I guess, is an option, but that seems like pretty underwhelming for Simon. He might just...
And as we were expecting, Martin Muller takes game 1 from Lucas Blon. That game was not looking good, so both the Rally the Ancestor decks now up a game in the semifinals. Are we moving towards a Team Eureka finals?
Yeah, 100% Team Eureka finals, same 75 card deck. That would be quite the performance. I wonder if we've actually ever had a 75 card mirror in a final of any major tournaments. I can't think of a PT where it happened. I'm guessing there's a chance it happened in a GP, but it seems pretty unlikely. That would be a good one. I see Rich, he's like frowning, he's thinking, trying to go in the
into the Rich tank.
deep in his memory bank.
In the meantime, we see a Collected Company hit Nantuko Husk and
Wow.
Cutthroat one step closer to the Rally finals.
Yeah, that's a big one. That's a huge one. I'm not sure Husk is actually ideal. I think you might want like Sifter might be better than Husk in that spot, but so Rich mentioned Kibler against PV in Honolulu a few years ago, but I think I think he's looking it up. Probably a few. It's so rare that you actually settle on the same exact 75 and like same main deck. That happens quite often. Same sideboard, like a bit more rare. So let's see. Simon down 6 already. So he's gonna try to think. All right, what if he has a Tarkus Command? What if he has Temur Battle Rage? What if he has a Pattern Strength? What if he has a Shock? What if he has
What if it's a
just
combination of all these
just a
cards?
Battle Rage? If he has a combination of most of them, he probably dead. So we can expect no shocks because he probably would have shocked the Cutthroat.
I think he has a he has a
might-
shock.
Yeah,
right?
no, I guess sandbagging it might be right. Making Simon block poorly.
Yeah, I think he has a Wild Slash actually, and 2 lands. Now, which creature do you Wild Slash? You're definitely not Wild Slashing the Cutthroat.
I guess you Wild Slash the Husk so that you force you get to trade with the Husk, or you force Castellani, you force Nielsen to sack his 2 creatures before damage, and you get to save your Abbot.
Yeah, there we see the Wild Slash on the Nantuko Husk. Let's see how Simon responds to that I'm pretty sure the cutthroat can be sacrificed. Yeah, we're gonna see that. So Nantuko has becomes a 4-4. He's gonna scry as well from the sifter. Wild Slash is gonna resolve without any more targets.
Abbott becomes a 3-2. So now potentially trading with the sifter.
So now Simon's choice is saving his Nantuko husk while not killing the Abbot, or killing the Abbot and also losing his Nantuko husk.
Yeah, he might want to clear the board, especially if he's gonna rally next turn. I don't know. I feel like Simon has only good options right now.
Yeah, he lets the Nantuko husk go. He does get to scry once more from the Nantuko husk, and now he's gonna untap with 5 mana. And Antonio, his opponent's at 7, so he's a little bit closer than previous game, but he's out of gas. And Simon Nielsen is untapping, and I see Rich Hagen.
Cleric.
He's very happy. He found a 75 mirror, hasn't he? 74 of 75. He was close.
So close, 74.
That one Garruk Primal Hunter.
What? That's absurd. So no 5 mana Abs and Rally because his 5th land is Evolving Wilds, but he does get to play Cleric, which he's gonna sack to the Faithful just to make sure it hits the graveyard and it comes back next turn with Abs and Rally.
Yeah.
So
now Antonio needs the combo, but he's got neither pieces, just like game 1.
So
even if he draws like Hordling Outburst, the next turn will be very problematic.
Yeah, I'm not sure what his outs are at this point. I'm not sure he can muster enough damage before Simon gets out of reach.
And even if he finds a combo, I believe Simon has a Murderous Cut in hand.
Wow.
Yeah, Murderous Cut, CDC's Faithful, Rally the Ancestor.
It's a great hand. Simons must be feeling pretty good right now. Yeah, I mean, we see just Antonio just flooded again, like 7 lands, just way too many if you want to have a shot against all the clerics and walls and sifters of Simon can provide. It's just like pretty unfortunate.
And I am still looking for that bad matchup for the Rally the Ancestors deck at this point in time. I mean, I don't think this is it. I don't think Esper Control is it. I don't think Absen is it.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe Jeskai Black?
Maybe just few tweaks, cutting those Lilianas, like making the deck a bit more streamlined. Nothing fancy about the deck either. It's literally, main deck is all 4-ofs and 24 lands. Sideboard is, 2 4-ofs, a bunch of 2-ofs and a 1-off, but nothing's fancy, nothing out of the ordinary. Just figured out which cards were good, which card was a bit underwhelming, and they just maxed out, and it's working great.
Yeah, very good job indeed by Team Eureka. Simon Nielsen with a Catacomb Sifter, moving closer and closer to that finals. Blue mana as well. Play the CDC's Faithful, sacrifice my other Faithful and get rid of one of your goblins. Here we go, 3 blockers against 2 creatures. Still Rally the Ancestors and a Murderous Cut in hand. He's at 10 life as well.
Yeah, so he's taking his time.
One of the best draws for Antonio. He's got a Abbot. He hits a Lightning Berserker. Not too bad either, but still not halfway there. Still facing 3 blockers with no potential good attacks, it seems.
Yeah, so Simon making sure he doesn't just lose to the top of his deck being like 7 lands in a row, because if he rallies, he still loses all his guys on his upkeep. So what he's going to do is scry a bunch. I guess he gets a bunch of sign tokens that get to stick around, and he gets to bounce Goblin tokens, but he's going to gain a bunch of lives, draw a bunch of cards. But if ever his top, let's say 10 cards or something completely like almost impossible is all lands, he could somehow lose the game. So he's just taking his time, no hurries. Yeah, as long as he has that Murderous Cut, he knows nothing bad can happen.
He draws for the turn. That is another island. Does he have anything else?
Yeah, just making sure he maximizes the
The good thing is,
the rally.
yeah, if he rallies, he can like bounce some of his creatures with his own faithfuls.
Oh, that's a good point. Wow, yeah, that's a nice synergy. So yeah, it's like really hard.
He's still gonna go there. There's one piece of the puzzle in on Tuco Husk. As long as he's at 10 life, I'm sure he's not worried. His opponent only one card in hand. We know there's no cards. Well, 2 cards. We know there's nothing like stoke the flames in this format.
And it's taking a bit longer because I'm assuming he boards out most Grim Haruspex since it's really poor against shocks. It's actually one of the only creatures in his deck that doesn't have a come into play effect and doesn't get you value when if Antonio kills it. Like Sifter gets you a token no matter what, Cleric gets you 3 lives, Faithful, 4 toughness, doesn't die to a shock. So that might be why we're not seeing the Grim Haruspex show up. But at this point, looks like I don't know. Simon has it locked up. Maybe Antonio needs to like chain abbots into like draw, become immense and battle rate, and even that, yeah, he has a murderous cut. So I'm guessing a Tarkus command is Antonio's best draw at this point in the game. So
now a second Rally the Ancestor for Simon Nielsen. He's gonna start by attacking with an Antukas, and he might actually need to chump block that one.
Yeah, now he has the Abyss, and yeah, I'm not even sure.
Couldn't he actually have lethal by sacrificing his Faithful and bouncing a bunch of cards? Well, yeah, he needs to bounce 4 cards. Yeah, we're gonna see a chump with well, it's not actually a chump. It's actually a fine blocker, Lightning Berserker. One of the few fine blockers in the Atarka red deck.
Yeah, I think Antonio's out. I'm not sure if he can still draw out of it, but it might involve drawing in a row his last 3 Atarkas command. I think that's the only way he has a shot, like preventing the life gain from the Clerics and the Cutthroats, dealing some damage to Simon, maybe getting a bit of damage through some of his creatures, but I'm not even sure he has 1 in hand right now. So better start drawing those commands, Mr. Castellani.
Simon is actually sacrificing his Sifter above his token, meaning that he's probably counting on the Rally the Ancestors this turn.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no use for Antonio to pump anymore. Yeah, there we go, Rally the Ancestors for Simon Nielsen. Maybe at the end of turn?
Yeah, I think if there's a reason where if you should like maybe just play on Antonio's upkeep, or
he's just happy to say go. Antonio draws a Dragon Fodder now in hand, a Atarkas command, a Become Immense, and a land.
Yeah, we're probably going to see an attack where Antonio's going to be like, anyways, if he has Rally, I lose. So maybe he's just bluffing, Maybe he doesn't have anything at all.
Yeah, but this is very unlikely because there was no reason for Simon at this point to make this play if he doesn't have the Rally. So I don't think he's going to have it. Antonio will fall into that. I think he will respect it, but what is his plan if he has it? I mean, wait till the end of turn and then Simon does it at the end of turn? That's not a plan either.
Yeah, I mean,
he just says go, it seems. Yeah, go. Rally the Ancestors. Bring back my whole team. Bounce a couple of creatures from yours.
Scry a billion times, gain a bunch of lives, draw a bunch of cards.
That's all it takes.
That looks pretty fun if you're on Simon's side.
On this side, it's fun as well. Come on, Gabe. There he shows removal and another rally. Good job by Simon Nielsen. He moves to the finals from Denmark. Simon Nielsen with Rally the Ancestors here at Grand Prix Brussels. Our second semi-finalist will either be Martin Muller or Lucas Blon. Lucas Blon has shown that he's able to beat the Rally the Ancestor deck. He did beat it in the quarterfinals, but he is down 1 game in this semi-finals. Let's take a look at what's happening in that match. I believe they are still shuffling up. They're about to get ready for game number 2. There they are. Oh, it's already 1-1. So Lucas Blon manages to win game 2. Now game 3. This one will be the decider. Will it be Rally on Rally or will it be Esper on Rally?
Yeah, will it be Lucas who gets to play for his third match in a row against Rally in that top 8, or is it going to be the first 75 card mirror match in the finals of a major tournament?
And Lucas has had the opportunity to play against the Rally deck in the Swiss as well, so he's certainly the most experienced one in this matchup. He knew what he would bring in. He was happy to bring in some more duress, infinite obliteration. He was, of course, very eager about. He had the Russian Clerics, which he was going to bring in as well. The horribly awry was pretty good, he said. Taking out, actually, his sweepers. He was about to take out Crux of Fate and Voltong Invocation. Well, Voltong Invocation, of course, not the best of cards against all of these 1/1 tokens and Elvish Visionaries.
Yeah, so you actually talked to him about the matchup a bit before the top 8? And, alright, cool.
He's actually sideboarding 2 or 3 Russian Clerics, 2 Negate.
Okay, that's 4 or 5 cards.
I'm not sure about the ultimate prize. I'm sure about the horribly awry.
Potentially 5.
Maybe the duress, and certainly 6, the infinite
so
obliteration.
About 7 or 8 cards.
And he takes out 1 Crux of Fate, 3 Voltong Invocation, I believe 1 Dragonlord Silumgar, and 1 Utter End or
so
something like that.
That's minus
he's
6
also
cards.
taking out the Ojutai's command, which he said is not very good in this match.
Alright, 7. That makes sense. So
off we go with a Sunken Hollow for Martin Muller. Last game of the semifinals.
Yeah, let's
Lucas
hope we get
or Martin Muller.
Yeah, let's hope we get a good clean game. No mulligans, I think, on either side. Both players who seem to have lands and spells. And it looks like we're going to see a turn to Jace on Martin Muller's side.
It's either Jace or Cutthroat with this mana. Could be a Sidisi's Faithful, but I wouldn't advise that one.
Alright, so good start for Martin. Let's see if Lucas has the answer.
Yeah, he does have 3 ultimate prize after Cyber to counter the turn 2 Jace.
Yeah. Lucas made it in top 8 as seed number 8, so he was on the draw game 1, meaning that so far in this match, whoever was on the play won the game. So if we follow that logic, Martin Muller is going to be advancing to finals. Let's see if Lucas can turn things around.
He draws for a turn. That's a Silumgar Scorn. Does he have a Jace? He's got the ultimate prize, but is he going to fire it off now, or should he wait and keep up the counter?
I think usually people fire it off right away. It does leave him exposed to Jace number 2.
Or 3 or 4. I believe he's actually got 4 copies in hand.
But every card you let Martin loot away could be like the one card that ends up making the difference. So it's a really tough choice. He also might just have ultimate price number 2, or his 1 copy of complete disregard, which would be pretty awesome right now.
Seems like he's got a couple of lands, a Scorn, a Russian Cleric, a Utter End, a Dragonlord Silumgar, and a Dictator Time.
Yeah, but that ultimate price play really interesting. Do you wait to see if to make sure Martin doesn't get to resolve a second copy, or do you get it right away? It's the kind of plays you kind of feel like you have to have played the matchup a bunch of times, or similar matchups a bunch of time, to get a good feel for what's the play that gives you the best value.
And I see Judge Niels Viana running with the trophies. He's almost ready to give it away, but he's got to wait till the finals and till this semifinals to end as well.
Yeah,
let's see what Lucas Blon does.
Slow down. Okay, big tank on Lucas' sides. Bloodstainmire Go is the play. Potentially sitting on a counter spell.
Yes, indeed. He was thinking about what land to play, I think.
Yeah, I think he could have played a Prairie Steam tap, but he's probably just going to get a Swamp and be able to play the Prairie Steam on tap next turn, drop a Cleric, and still have 2 mana for a counterspell.
Yeah, and I think one of the reasons for that is that he wants the extra card in his graveyard for the Dictator Time.
Yeah, makes sense. And Jace, who's doing work, looting away a fairly low impact Cutthroat. Visionary is the play. So wow, no force land. So that's really good for Lucas. That's a way of getting ahead, just having Martin Muller stumble on lands. So That's pretty big. That's pretty big if you're Lucas.
Now Lucas did not fetch at the end of turn. He's gonna fetch in his turn. He already took a draw.
Yeah, letting Martin know that he's a bit short on lands. Deciding not to fin his deck before his draw step.
Now he does thin his deck in order to be able to play that Prairie Stream untapped. He might be playing a Russian clan. No, he's actually gonna other end.
Yeah, main phase other end against. Oh wow!
Runs
But he
into
has
the
the
dispel.
chase. He gets completely blown out. Like he was trying to deny Martin Muller an extra draw step, hoping he stays mana screwed, but that's a disaster.
Yeah, it indeed is, and this also means that Lucas Blon is tapped out. Can Martin capitalize on that?
Does he have the collected company?
Where he is searching up a fourth land. That is a plains that gives him 4 mana. Let's see what he's got. He's got the Jace flipped for next turn if he wants to. Stepping 4. We're gonna see Coco
There it is.
number 1.
Yeah, he could have just played the cleric. I think he has. Maybe he doesn't have a counter spell. Maybe that's why he went for the other end right away. But
No creature yet. That's only one creature. 1 Grim Haruspex.
Wow.
At least it's
That's-
not the best collected company ever for
Yes,
Lucas Blon.
especially if Lucas can find a copy of Ultimate Price.
And now he draws horribly awry.
Never a bad card in this matchup. It's going to be good at some point. Counters every creature in Martin Muller's deck.
Says go. Doesn't do anything about the Jace. That Jace might flashback collected company this turn. Or maybe even dispel to protect something.
Yeah. Guesses we're just going to see Jace get picked up this turn and Martin's going to try to add more creature to the board. But let's find out. Attack for 4, bringing it down to 12.
And then often in these matchups you don't notice. You're like taking 2, you're sometimes taking 4. You're like, yeah, I'm fine. And then all of a sudden you're at 12 and you're looking at a 2-turn clock.
Yeah. But he does have the Arishan Cleric to give him some breathing room in the next few turns. So what's the play here for Martin? Martin probably the most experienced player with the deck this weekend. He's apparently played over 100 games with the deck on Magic Online. And yeah, maybe he's the one who got the tune deck. And I don't think we mentioned it yet, but Martin Muller back-to-back top 8s in major events. Was already in the top 8 of PT Milwaukee this year, so great start for him. I'm not sure if he went to GP Indianapolis or not. I don't think so. So yeah, back-to-back top 8s was some pretty different decks. Jeskai tokens in Milwaukee and Rally this weekend, so kind of 2 unexpected decks. Jeskai tokens who wasn't much played at all in Milwaukee.
There we go. He flashes back the collected company. I do expect a counterspell from Lucas Blon here.
Yeah, he doesn't mind. He's just trying to run out Lucas out of counterspell. We see the Scorn and he has a Silumgar. Does he also have Ojutai? He has Dragonlord Silumgar in hand.
Yeah, and he can actually steal the Jace and then use it to flashback something just to get rid of it.
Yeah, that could be an option. He could also just stick it up. I don't think Martin brought in any Murder Scots or Valor Stance. He might.
Yeah, maybe this is Fateful, but I think they cybered out most of these as well, which I think is a little bit weird, because I feel like the games they lose are to a quick.
Yeah, I feel like sorry.
No,
yeah, quick
ahead.
Yeah, I feel like bringing in like actually a copy or 2 of Murder Scots might not be the worst. The problem is Lucas has the res, so he can see Martin has a Murder Scot and not attack with Ojutai. He's kind of played around it until he's ready for it. But yeah, I agree. It's so hard to sideboard with that kind of deck. Though you don't want to feign out, take out too many creatures and then you're missing on companies and losing the game because you only hit 1 creature on company.
And now he looks at the top of his deck. 7 cards. What is he gonna take? He's got a Durez in there, 2 Dragonlord Ojutai.
Yeah, that's
a Dispel? No, a Scatter the Wilds.
a really close game so far. I'm not too sure who's ahead. I want to say...
Scatter to the winds it is. Not
So Martin has 3 cards in hand. Nothing super relevant in his graveyard. I think Lucas might be ahead right now.
Yeah, but don't forget that the Grim Haruspex is actually like at least 1 card. Like
potentially none. I mean, if you find an ultimate price or a complete disregard, get rid of it. As you said, he can steal chase with Dragonlord Silumgar, stabilize the board, and
his hand is Absent Ascendancy, Rally the Ancestors, and the 3rd card.
Yes, sir. His
hand is fine, but he's still missing the Nantuko Husk, really.
Yeah, the Husk is the key part right now.
Lucas taking his time. This is the semifinals after all. Final game.
Yeah, you've got to make a decision at some point. I feel like it's been at least 2 minutes.
Is someone gonna stop Team Eureka from winning this GP? If it is someone, it is gonna be Lucas Blon. He takes Haven of the Spirit Dragon and something different.
Company's still on the stack.
Silumgar score is gonna get countered, but is gonna counter the Collected Company.
Yeah, it's removed. It was flashback. Was the chase. And are we gonna see the play you were talking about? Just Silumgar take your chase, or does Lucas has a better? Does he have a better line?
He's gonna start with a fetch Bloodstained Mire, able to search up a Sunken Hollow. That gives him 6 mana. He can go for the Dragonlord Silumgar. He might even take the Grim Haruspex, or is that too fancy?
He can also just lead with Ojutai. I don't think there's anything good in Martin's graveyard right now, so he could almost let him have Jace 1 more turn, but he decided against it, picks it up. He's playing as if Martin didn't have any main deck removal.
Yeah, I think this game's actually looking good for Lucas. I mean, he's got the Jace, which can actually flashback ultimate price next turn. He's got the Dragonlord Ojutai to go with that, and the 7th land. And Martin Muller is still not having the best of graveyards to go with his Rally the Ancestor. He does have the Absent Ascendancy, but even that one is not that good.
Yeah, it doesn't look like the pieces are coming together for Martin right now.
I guess it's one of the risks with a deck like the Rally the Ancestor deck. You need so many different cards at the same time. You need the Nantuko Husk, you need the Grim Haruspex, you need the Cutthroat. Sometimes you're just missing one of the 3, and then it's just all of your creatures are just 1/1s and 2/2s.
All right.
There we see the Cutthroat plus a Absent Ascendancy grows his army, but no good attacks for him.
Yeah, the games are definitely weird. Sometimes it feels like the rally player has, he's out of it, and he actually has the pieces he needs to win the game. And sometimes it feels like he's pulling ahead. Getting some card advantage, resolving Collected Companies, has 4 or 5 cards in hands, but and oftentimes it's like the Husk missing that sacrifice outlet, and that's one of the slight problems with the deck in Standard. There's no good. The Husk is the only real good sack outlet. Evolutionary Leap is kind of fine, but yeah.
Gonna see a flashback on the ultimate prize, getting rid of the Grim Haruspex.
Yeah, great start, and now he just want to load up on counter spells, I guess. Just play Ojutai next turn, maybe play a Cleric this turn,
He still got Scatter the Winds, I believe.
Scatter the Winds, so yeah, we're possibly gonna see a Cleric from Lucas Blon, and then an Ojutai next turn. Is he thinking about just tapping out for Ojutai this turn?
Did he? I'm not even 100% sure that he took the Ojutai.
Oh,
he might have actually taken the Scatter the Winds.
Yeah.
There we go. A Rushing Cleric puts him back to 12, gives him 2 blockers. It's still the Jace, but he doesn't have his dragon. Well, he's got one of the... Oh, there is the Sacrifice outlet. That's a huge draw for Martin Muller.
Yeah, can he resolve, though? Can he resolve it? I guess it's not bad. Having it in the graveyard is not a terrible thing either.
Oh,
So
the horribly awry is gonna exile it.
that's true. Wow. Yeah. Might even want to hold on to it until he draws a duress or a dispel.
Well, there's only one horribly awry in the deck of Lucas Blon.
No, but he might want to just try and pile up on threats, or maybe even enough turn rally, untap, play a husk,
Yeah.
Try and outplay Lucas rather than just run his threats, one into the wall one by one.
He's aligning his lands.
Like if he knew what we know, he might actually just say go and try to set up. Oh, all right, Grim Haruspex. So gonna get countered anyway. So did he actually draw a husk, or was that the card you thought was a husk?
He drew a husk. He had the Haruspex already.
All right, so he baited the counter spell out of Lucas' hand. So well played by Martin.
Jace at 1 loyalty, so no flashbacking this turn. It seems like Scatter to the Winds
Yeah, it's gonna
and
take
ultimate prize for Lucas.
All right, that's a pretty solid hand. So it's gonna take a couple more turns if you want to be able to flashback the Dig for Time that's sitting in his graveyard.
Do you actually counter the Nantuko Husk? Is that one that needs to be countered? Because you got ultimate prize, so
yeah, I guess you're right. I think you hold on to it.
There's much more. There are many cards that are worse. One of them is, for example, the Rally the Ancestor in Martin Muller's hand. He draws. It seems to be another land. He still has that Chase, which is ticking up slowly towards another flashback. This time on Dictator time.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if he gets rid of it right away or if he waits one turn to still have a Jace with one counter on it. I think we're going to see him flashbacking Dig next turn if he doesn't draw anything good. I think trying to keep the Jace around is way too greedy.
Another land, number 6 for Martin Muller.
Yeah, he's played the matchup. He knows you can never get too comfortable against the rally deck.
He's thinking about attacking with that Nantuko Husk. There's a perfect blocker in the form of Dragon Lord. Lucas can actually, well, he doesn't need to double block. He just needs to block with his Dead Dutch Dragon. And then Martin is actually going to sacrifice 2 creatures.
Yeah, Martin sees the bad news. He knows there's a removal spell in Lucas' hand. Lucas would chum block with the cleric if he didn't have a removal spell, so he's gonna keep that in mind.
He's still going for it. He's making 3 spirit
tokens. I mean, he has to make him use the ultimate prize. He's not losing much.
Now we see the ultimate prize on the Nantuko Husk.
Yeah, he's like, all right, that's fine.
Is that a dispel in Martin Muller's hand?
Wow, that would be huge. That would be absolutely huge. Just draw a lot of cards, get a lot of tokens.
No, it's not. There's already one in his graveyard as well.
I mean, it might be. He'd hold it to like a rally is upkeep. Are we gonna see upkeep rally backed up by dispel, or is it just a land he drew?
I think it's an island, but I'm not 100% sure.
Marine Livert was the tease right there. I think he's got the dispel. Can't quite see. I'm half blind, so you can make me believe whatever you want.
He's got 2 dispel. Let's see what happens.
I think he does. Upkeep rally, and so confident he's. Or maybe he's just
to the Winds. Tap 1 blue.
I think he has it. He's waiting to see if he taps 6 mana or any free. He looked pretty confident the way he slammed it. No,
he doesn't.
He just
it is the island.
Yeah, he just went for it. He's like, just hope his last card is not a counter spell. He had to go for it.
This game is super close. We can actually see Jace at 3 now. Means that Dictator time can be flashbacked, and there's no better targets. The ultimate prize to get rid of 1 spirit doesn't matter.
He has to do it. He needs a counter spell to make sure nothing bad happens. What did Lucas draw? Wait, what? Why is he?
He at least should tick it up.
Another Dig for Time. Doesn't even need to use the Chase.
7 fresh cards. Perfect when you're out of cards.
Wow.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Luke is gonna do it.
Island, Jace, I believe a other end. Does he find a counter? Because that's the most. Yeah, he's got the scatter to the winds.
Wow, that's huge. Hard counter.
And other end for the Abs and Ascendancy. Although even that one is at this point pretty useless.
Yeah.
Still giving it some thought. He might actually grab the Jace. Because
Yeah, I mean, Jace wouldn't be bad. Jace might be better than other end in that spot.
problem is that if he uses the -3 on the Jace to flashback ultimate price, he will only have 2 mana left after that. So he cannot play the Clash to the Winds if he does that.
No, it's fine, but just, you know, just for next turn.
It seems like he's not taking the Jace. He's giving it a little bit of thought. No, there he goes. He takes Clash to the Winds and other end. Give one of your flyers -2, -0 and says go. Martin Muller draws. It's not a land, I believe. He's gonna tap 3. He knows that every turn Lucas gets from this position is not good for him. And Lucas might not even have to counter. The Sifter isn't all that scary, to be fair.
Yeah, it's
It still gives him some scry.
Yeah, it gives him some scry because now he can start attacking the Jace every turn, and every time he loses a token, he gets to scry. So I don't think you can counter it, but it's like deceptively good, I think, right now. Gives him like extra incentives to attack with the Jace.
Indeed, there we go. 3 spirit tokens are attacking the Jace. Lucas Blon does have 1 dragon to jump in front of the spirit.
Yeah.
This means that Jace would go down to 2.
Not impossible. Lucas slightly misplayed by not using the Jace right away. And then saving the dig for time he actually drew. I'm actually surprised also Martin didn't just attack. I guess he didn't have all the tokens yet last turn.
The 4th token is got -2, -0, so that one is not very good in attacking. He does lose 1 and he gets to scry. Jace goes down to 2.
Yeah, is there a reason why Martin didn't attack last turn with his token to keep Jace below free loyalty counters?
Did he have that many spirit tokens last turn?
Yeah,
it wasn't last turn where he attacked with the Nantuko Husk?
Yeah, I think you might be right. I think that's what happened. Makes sense. I think I've been pretty impressed by Martin Muller, so I don't think he would have made such a basic mistake.
Martin Muller, he does not make mistakes. Draw, complete disregard, another very powerful card against the Rally the Ancestor. I think Lucas Blohan is putting a halt to the full 75 mirror.
Yeah, just Caster's Curse. Classic. We talked about it too much. Sorry, Martin.
2 tokens come in. Sifter has got no use. Maybe even the Eldrazi and the Sifter. I mean, he's losing 1 creature.
I don't think you can afford to lose the Sifter. It's not a. It's not a good trade. You're somewhat desperate, but I don't think quite that desperate yet.
Martin Muller, he wants to play his friend in the finals. He seems to say go. Yeah, gonna see end of turn, complete disregard on the Sifter. That one's gonna get exiled. My turn, Lucas says.
Yeah, Martin could have sacked his Scion in response. I'm not sure if he decided not to or if it didn't cross his mind, but every draw step is so crucial right now. And I'm not sure the Scion's going to be doing much. So, yeah, possibly a tiny mistake there on Martin's part.
Now a cutthroat for Martin Muller. Is that one actually good? No, he's just going to say go. He knows about the complete disregard, but I think this is dig through time.
Nope. Chase sticking up.
Elvish Visionary. That's a good one.
Yeah. Not a good sign for Martin, though. Probably means that Lucas' hand is pretty solid if he's not flashbacking dig right away.
Nantuko Husk, not too bad either. This is still Lucas is in charge, but there's still a way out for Martin Muller.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not one of these games where you're attacking with Dragon Lord Ojutai and you know you're winning. As long as he does not find a 5-4, there's still a way out for Martin Muller.
Yeah, especially with that Absent Ascendancy. Like, can provide so much value over the course of the game that, eventually, I don't think Lucas has a... Not sure if Lucas... Oh, there we go. Alright, no more Absent Ascendancy. No more blockers for you.
He's exiled quite a bit of permanence in this game already. Oh, there it is. Dragon Lord Ojutai alarm.
Yeah, looks like he's gonna go for it. He can also play a dig for time,
Yeah,
but
he still got double backup, negate and clash to the winds after that.
Yeah, so feeling pretty safe.
That safe that it's time to attack with his other dragon.
Yep, and here he comes. The Dragon Lord Ojutai joins his brother.
Take up my Jace once again. Martin Muller fetching, thinning out his deck a little. I'm not even sure if it's thinning out because he might have scried some cards to the bottom already with the sifter.
Yeah, might be.
But I think it's only one card he put at the bottom.
Yeah, might be a downside, but he might just need the extra land to try and play a bunch of spells in a single turn. Try and force something through. Can Martin do it? Can he outplay Lucas? Draw the cards he needs and sequence them in the right order.
That seems to be a land. I believe a Windswept Heat. There's still an Antuka Husk in his hand. And a Cutthroat. Lucas is at 9, so both of them together gets Martin almost there. First he's gonna start with the Cutthroat. How many creatures will he get if he plays an Antuku Husk? 7, but he can only get rid of 6. So that's 3 damage short, even if both of these cards resolve. I don't think Lucas is gonna counter that one. Ooh, he's pulling a little bluff there. Tapping 4, acting as if he's got Rally the Ancestors, trying to trick Lucas Blon. He really wants that Nantuko Husk to survive, actually.
Wow, that's sick.
That was one hell of a bluff. Let's see if Lucas bites.
Might not matter though, he has 2 killer spells anyway. He's like, sure man, alright. It's pretty sweet though. One of the, maybe overlooked aspect of the game.
Yeah, unfortunately it doesn't work. Clash to the winds, counters an Antuko Husk. That means that there's only one negate left. Scatter to the winds.
What were you calling it? I didn't even...
No. Not scatter to the winds.
Something else.
Problem is that there's still quite some spirit tokens.
Cancel to the winds.
There's still quite some spirit tokens, so the Dragon Lord Ojutai is not certain to connect. There is still the Jace that can actually flashback dig through time this turn.
Yeah, Lucas still in control, but maybe Martin can draw a Husk, another Husk, to get something going. Unfortunately for him, Lucas is probably gonna flashback dig for time this turn, dig to find another hard counter. Make sure he just doesn't die to a Husk. There we go, 7 cards. Can he find a Scorn?
He's already out of.
Yeah, I think he's out of
Scatters.
But a bunch of Scorns left in his deck. Also, Infinite Obliteration wouldn't be the worst card.
I believe that's 1 Scorn, might even be 2 Scorns.
Wow, that would be huge. Yeah, definitely 1 Scorn. And Martin's perspective just got slightly worse.
Gotta fight through 2 scorns and a negate if he wants to be in the finals of GP Brussels.
It's going to take a bit more than a bluff to get through a triple counter spells on Lucas's side.
I think if Lucas has ever felt confident in this semifinals, I think this was the turn. Finding 2 scorns to counter the next 2 spells. He knows that Martin Muller doesn't have anything, otherwise he would have played it last turn.
Yeah, and Lucas can even like flashback other end next turn, make sure he gets rid of the cutthroat.
Morph. Playing it that way. That's
what could it? Yeah, what could it be? Only morph in Martin's deck.
Funny to play it that way. Is there actually an upside to playing it as a morph? If your opponent has the full 75?
I'm not sure.
Or is it another bluff?
I know that in some matchups you want to play it face down so it can't get absent charmed, for instance. So keep it 2 power instead of 3, but I'm not sure there's
no Ugin in Lucas' deck?
No, there's no Ugin.
Just playing the mind game here, Martin Muller.
Yeah.
And Lucas is gonna counter it. Let's see.
I guess ultimate price is a reason, actually.
Yeah.
Keep it colorless.
Martin Muller, he thinks about everything. Time to send in the creatures at chase. One of them's got -2, -0. And there's 2 blockers for Lucas Blon. He could send in 4 of them, but then Jace would survive at 1.
Yeah.
He's actually gonna... Oh, he's gonna trigger...
If it was a friendly game, Lucas would probably just show him his hand and be like, yep.
Well, Lucas goes down to 7. It's only 7 more creatures, and there's already the Cyan. That's 6.
So
2
Martin,
chumps, 5.
Martin does have outs. He's not like completely locked out of the game, but he needs to start drawing good cards right away, and he needs to hope Lucas breaks for a few turns. So that's a lot of ifs and things that needs to happen.
Dragon Oh, you know it's looking bad if a Russian Cleric is coming in.
Yeah.
Ultimate price on the cutthroat.
So that's going to be a drain for 1, but it's going to make sure Lucas doesn't fall lower than he already is.
-2, -0 on your spirit. I still get 2 counters. What do you have? Another morph? Seems to be another morph for Martin Muller.
Yeah,
Still playing the morph game.
That's not what he needs, though. Oh well, at least that's a break on Lucas's side. He might play it anyways, just to make sure there's not a dispel somehow.
Duress shows the windswept heat.
Yeah.
Martin Muller has been holding for quite some turns. Jace goes to 4. Jace goes to 1 in effect. Other end, kill your morph. I've now got 2 dragons and a Russian cleric facing 1 spirit token. Jump on your Dragon Lord Ojutai. This game is Lucas to take. We're inches away from
what did Martin
finals
draw?
between Team Cabin
Fetch
Crew
and
and
go.
Team Eureka.
Another duress. Takio is everything. And that's a 2-turn clock with 2 hard counters in hand. I mean a 1-turn clock. Oh, here's another negate. He doesn't even bother with the second dragon or an infinite obliteration. Just
there we see the handshake. Lucas Blon beats the 2nd rally in the row. Can he take down the 3rd one in the finals or not? Great game it was. Lucas Blon playing against Simon Nielsen in the finals.
Yeah, down a game. Lucas managed to pull both sideboard games. We didn't get to see how game 2 went, but that was like pretty exciting, pretty tense 3rd game. Things were looking good for Martin, but game slowly slipped away.
Remember that turn 5 where he collected company and only hit the Grim Haruspex?
Good stuff. Yeah, that was huge. Like Grim Haruspex, not highest impact card when it dies right away. Doesn't net you any cards or tokens or anything. So
yeah. Anyways, we've got only 2 players left here at Grand Prix Brussels. We're going to give them a couple of minutes to take a little rest and drink some water. But after that, these 2 players, Lucas Blon and Simon Nielsen, rally against Esper Dragons. Basically the matchup of the tournament so far.
Yeah, it's kind of the story of the tournament.
Yeah. And it's going to end in the finals. Don't run anywhere. In 5 or 10 minutes, we will be back with more action.